things to help us with our family engagement. Oh, there we go. Recording is started. All right, so good evening. My name is Bobby Brooks, principal of Westward Elementary School. And this is basically just sharing some information with our parents at Westward about how we're going to open up the school on the very first day. I think it's really good if you're a person who's having your child come the first day or not. Maybe you choose to have your child come later on, that's fine. But this is a very, I think, beneficial recording to take hold of and to listen to, because it'll give you the information you need if and when you choose to bring your child to school to begin our face-to-face learning. So hopefully you can see the brick and mortar reopening plans. Everybody see that? Is that good? I got a thumbs up. You guys see the presentation? That's good. Do you see it? Can you give me a thumbs up? You see it? Good. Okay. So brick and mortar reopening plan, virtual meetings. So we had a brief meeting with some of our parents who started this week, our self-contained classrooms. Then we're going to take a look at the meeting tonight for you guys to share more information. So students who are moving from distance learning to brick and mortar, what should have happened is there was a deadline to have this information turned into us by September 13th. I did have some teachers reach out to their parents and say, listen, if your parents have the information, put it into our spreadsheet. So we didn't know what to expect on Monday, September 21st. So parents, if you have not done it, please do it tonight. Log into your child's portal where it says make your choice, click on that, and click whether if you're choosing to come to brick and mortar face-to-face instruction, indicate that. If you choose to stick with distance learning for now, please click that. All right, but make sure you do that in terms of putting information. That's what the district is using and schools are using to monitor. If you decide at some point in time to change your mind and the district is allowing you to do that, we're asking for a 7-day advance notice. All right, so give us a week notice so we can make sure we prepare things. We may have to add or move more desks around and do different things for lunch. So we need to make sure we are aware of what your plans are, and we need a week advance notice. I would suggest doing two things. When you choose to go ahead and have your child come, if you're going to stay in distance learning for a while, and you change your mind, please make sure, one, you put it on that particular survey where it says make your choice, and then please also notify the school. I would suggest letting your teacher know, send maybe myself, the front office, let us know to make sure that we know that you're deciding to move from distance learning to brick and mortar with the child to come to school, and we can make sure we plan accordingly for that. But we just make sure we have just a flood of kids coming all at one time and not be prepared for it. All right. So when it comes to brick and mortar, please make sure we take note of. Or you have 1 week to prepare. So make sure you go to the Make Your Choice website. Make sure you do that, please. Like I said, parents, if you're coming on now, make sure you do mute yourself so we don't have a lot of distraction when we're presenting and sharing. Attendance. So attendance will be taken daily, and we have two-part attendance taking place. Whether your child is distance learning, there'll be a virtual attendance for that, and children who are here face-to-face, we're taking attendance for that also as well. Students are marked tardy after 8:05, okay, and tardies are being tracked. Please note if a child has, I think, 6 tardies, that counts as 1 absence. Make sure you track if your child's getting online on time, that your child is also coming to school on time to coming to brick and mortar. You'll get phone calls if students are tardy or absent, so make sure you take note of that. The child should be here at least 3 hours, be counted as being present for the day. Now, please notice also as well, visitors and volunteers, we're changing our policies on how we do visitors. Okay, it'll be very different than how we've done before. To come and visit on campus, okay, you must have an appointment. Okay, appointments are mandatory to be able to come inside the office. If you do not have an appointment, you will not be permitted inside the office. All right. So make sure you have an appointment and make sure that front office is aware of it. They're going to keep track of appointments they have available, and if not, they'll have to communicate to you through our outside communication system. So make sure you have an appointment if you're planning on coming on campus. Also take note of the fact that if you are visiting on campus, we have certain protocols that are being done district-wide that must be done. So one, if you come on campus, your temperature will be taken automatically. We have one of the ones you check the forehead, they'll push a button, take your temperature. They will see if your temperature is above 100.4. And we have a signpost that says you won't be permitted to enter the campus. Okay, so make sure you note of that. You have to make sure that you are not coming on campus with some symptoms. Mr. Raymond Henry, could you make sure you mute yourself, please, sir? Make sure you go down to the bottom. Thank you, sir. I got you. Thank you, sir. So make sure that you are where your temperatures are, kind of monitor yourself before you come on campus. You have to wear a face mask. Face coverings are required. They're not optional. You have to have a face covering. And if you need one, we can provide that further. We will not have any volunteers on campus for the time being right now. Okay, so we just kind of make sure we're being very safe with people from outside coming in overall. Now, supervision starts at 7:30 for your children. Let me make sure this is very clear to everybody. So parents, we're going to keep our gate closed until 7:10. You will not be allowed to enter on campus in the driveway in the car loop area until 7:10. We'll open up at 7:10 and allow parents to pull up in the car loop area, right? But students cannot get out of the cars until 7:30, till the 7:30 bell. And we have two bells that ring. We have a 7:28 bell. That's like a warning for teachers to be on post, to be ready for students coming in. Then we have a 7:30 bell that rings secondly. So on that second bell, students will be permitted to come out of the cars and permitted to come on campus, all right? But you must wait until 7:30 before you admit your child out of the car to begin walking towards a designated area, all right? And so that's a change. So we need to make sure you guys are complying with that. We cannot have parents dropping their kids off early on campus. We just can't do, we don't have supervision for them. That puts people at risk across the board. So I need you to make sure parents, you're working out that where kids are coming on, it won't be driving on campus until 7:10 and coming out of the cars until 7:30, all right? So please work with us. This is for the safety of everyone. We need your cooperation with this. So come between, now before you come between 7:30 and 7:55, probably won't be as much traffic at that point in time. So as soon as it's expected to come, parents, you can't get out of your cars anymore when you're dropping off your child. So simply drop them off and have to keep moving, okay? There's no parking allowed. We're not going to allow parking now. Only if you have a case where we have an overload of parents, we may move people to parking areas and then let them release at 7:30. If the car loop gets so full, we don't want to have things backing up in Gulf Avenue. So that would be the exception. But overall, we ask you to go ahead and simply stay in the car loop area. That way, when it's time to release the child, you can easily just drive forward. Everyone's move forward, not to avoid people coming out of parking spots. If you're walking your child, okay, you cannot walk them all the way up to the front. Okay, we have to just actually walk your child up to a certain point and have them go ahead and walk from there from the exterior gates. Parents must use main outside of the gate or in your car. Students will come through the same gates they've always come in through. Okay, so that won't change, and that kind of remains the same. Let me kind of go through some of this, and I'll come back to some of the questions that are kind of coming up. Here's what I want to show you. Here's a change also as well for students as they come on campus, all right? It's very important you note this. So as your child's released, okay, to come on campus, we're going to separate how they enter into the gates on campus, all right? The 4th and 5th graders are going to go through the same gate they've always gone through. That's the main doors right in front of the main office. They're going to go in that way, okay? However, our kindergarten and 3rd graders will go through another set of gates, so kind of like in the center here for that. So make sure that those students, whether kindergarten or 3rd grade, they're going to come in through a different location. It'll be the center here, K through 3, all right? And then we'll have kids in 1st and 2nd grade, they're going to come in through the basketball court and come into this gate over here, all right? So we're going to have some signs available here. We're going to have some adults here available, teachers available also to help the students to know where they're going in that process, all right? So please note, not everyone will be going through the 4th and 5th grade entrance, through the main entrance here. There'll be some coming through this entrance to keep some degree of separation. And even with that, 3rd grade would be on the left side of this main gate, and the kindergarten is going to be on the right side of this main gate. We're going to have some signs there. Now, we've always had pre-K. We'll enter in, if you're new to pre-K, pre-K drives around the back side of the cafeteria, and they kind of come back here towards the side of the cafeteria door. So all pre-Kers will come here, and they'll come to the side door of the cafeteria. And then our 1st and 2nd grade are going to come through the basketball courts. There's one set of gates here. There's another set of gates here on the end. So we're going to have 3 different ways of students coming onto campus. 4th and 5th comes first. 3rd and kindergarten through the 2nd main way. And 1st and 2nd go through the basketball courts to keep separation as we enter onto the campus. All right. Now, here's what's going to happen as far as the walking through. Let me kind of explain this also as well. So 4th and 5th graders, like I said, they're here in green and blue, and their traffic's going to come through here. They'll come through the main corridor. They'll make a right, and they're going to come down, make a left here, and head towards this area. And they're going to head towards, first off, this cart. We're going to have breakfast be done on grab-and-go carts. Students will not be going to the cafeteria for breakfast, right? They're they're going to get these grab-and-go carts, which will be outside. This is going to be close to that main octagon entrance. Here we have kindergarten and third grade. They're going to go through the center circle here, and they'll head from the carts here, go straight ahead to the doors there to enter the building. Then our first and second graders are going to come through, like I said, the basketball courts. They're going to turn here and go make a left here at the basketball courts here, head towards, like they're going towards the playground. What's going to happen is there's going to be a cart right here, and this is going to be shared by first grade and second grade. Second grade will go to their cart, then they'll go to their classroom, which is right here in this main section of the building. First grade is going to go straight ahead after going to the grab-and-go cart and go there to this entrance door here. So basically you have fourth and fifth sharing a cart here. You have K and third sharing a cart right here in the center, and first and second is sharing a cart over here towards the right end of the school campus. All right. So it's important to make sure that everyone is going through their particular gates and doors. We're gonna have people there. We're gonna have signs that try to help direct them where students need to go. So please make sure you be patient with us as we kind of work through that, especially the first few days of school of doing this. All right. Let me see if I know quite a few questions were asked. Okay, so here, breakfast is going to be grab and go, as I said earlier. It'll be in the courtyard. Initially, breakfast will be free for all students. That's something that'll be covered across the class for everybody. Here's what I ask you to do. Let me just go through the whole presentation. We'll kind of answer questions at the end. Some of the questions some of you are asking are kind of at the end. So we go through the breakfast and we have that. Now, we'll have daily schedules. Kind of really follows the same schedule that you have in brick and mortar. So basically for those particular schedules, which is children are watching and following in brick and mortar, we're going to do the same thing here on the face-to-face. So that won't really change. So kids who are following along with distance learning will be the same schedule that we have here for kids who are doing face-to-face. So nothing's changed in regards to that schedule. We do not have to do overflow rooms at this point in time. We were working on that at some point. We were able to have our desks put into the classrooms, and we'll get to that in a second. So support facilitation will continue, which is those students who are receiving ESE services. They will continue to push into the classroom for those students who need it. They'll continue to pull students out. That's a part of their IEP plan. That will still continue to take place. Recess, PE will be held outdoors. That's what we're looking to do at this point in time. We're not sharing any equipment of students. We're gonna make sure they remain 6 feet apart, social distancing. When they're doing PE, the district kind of went back and forth, but at this point, they will not be required to wear a mask at PE time, as long as they make sure they maintain their social distancing. Right now, recess is gonna be held inside for right now. We may work out a rotation where teachers work out, like on Monday, I may go outside, then on Tuesday, you go outside to limit the number of kids going outside to recess. But for right now, we'll have it inside for the first probably 2 weeks of school and work on a rotation system that allow different classes to go out on a rotation basis. All playgrounds are gonna be closed for the first 60 days of school. That's across the board for all schools throughout the district. So that's nothing different for anybody else. Snacks and water, depending on the schedule, some students may be asked to bring snacks. Some students, especially who have late lunches, that may be a possibility. So make sure if you're part of that, and teachers kind of have leeway with that, make sure you're bringing healthy snacks. We're not shutting down the water fountains, but we're discouraging kids from using water fountains just by bending over and using it. So we're asking you to bring like reusable water bottles that students can use, or other water bottles for water. We just want to be cautious about kids using anything that may has a lot of touching to it, but we're not allowed to shut them down based on the district. Like I said, we can't shut them down. We are encouraging to make sure that you have your child be careful about using that and using things like water bottles to fill up water, as opposed to bending over just touching a lot of water fountains. For lunch, we'll make sure students wash their hands before lunch. We'll have some stations available where students can actually do sanitizing before they go to the cafeteria, very close to the cafeteria entrance. At this point in time, all lunches will be free at this point in time. That may change later on, but at this point in time, all lunches will be free for our students for a certain time period, until December at least. Students will have assigned seats and be sitting 6 feet apart. We have that spread out. We'll kind of show a little bit how that may look a little bit. They'll all be facing the front. They'll all be facing one direction. There won't be across from another student. They'll be 6 feet apart from them being in the classroom. They'll be using disposable materials, so trays will not have to be utilized. They'll take their food. When they're done, they'll throw everything away. Nothing will be brought up to be washed. Fine arts will be done daily with the students. So students will have fine arts, and they'll be done primarily in the classroom. So students will be moving to the fine arts classes, but what will happen is the fine arts teachers will go to the students' homeroom classes, or they go to whatever classes they have for rotation versus kids going somewhere else for fine arts. That may be exception to that, maybe 2 exceptions possibly will be PE will be allowed to be done out in the field, and media will be done in the media center, okay? So students will have their supplies for that. They'll have those supplies in their classroom and just stay right there. The teachers will come to them. They will not go to their fine arts teachers overall, except for PE and media. Now, when it comes to teaching, what's going to happen is this. We're going to have some kids who are going to be still online doing distance learning. We're going to have some kids who will be live in front of the teacher face-to-face. So we're going to have a blended model of instruction, where the teacher is instructing where students in front of them can hear and see, and students who are also at their computers at home, distance learning, can also see as well. So it'll be a kind of a unified plan of that, teachers doing that. At this point in time, the sessions are recorded for that to make sure students are being careful to make sure that they're being exposed on camera, trying to make sure to avoid that and not sharing their confidential passwords overall. The student code of conduct is going to go for kids who are here face-to-face, following the rules, and kids who are in distance learning. All will be enforced with the school rules that are expected across the board, so make sure they're aware of that. We're going to try to use as much as possible electronic instruction. We'll minimize the use of papers and workbooks and so forth. At least things that can be shared. Workbooks may be utilized if students keep their own workbooks. But as far as distributing papers around, we're going to try to avoid that as much as possible. Workbooks belong to the student. They'll keep their workbooks, won't pass them around. That's one thing. But passing different papers around and receiving them back, we're going to try to record that so that we can make sure we avoid anything that could be potential tracing. Student dismissal. So basically what's going to happen is students will be called out for dismissal. Walkers will be called out. Bus riders will be called out. We're going to basically have teachers in place for our dismissal. And for the most part, I don't think I have the slide in here. Let me exit here and put another slide up. For the most part, what's going to happen is dismissal will be somewhat similar to how we had arrival, where students will be in a location lined up. So what's going to happen is this. We're going to have our van riders who ride like aftercare programs. Our van riders are going to go and be dismissed to the cafeteria for van pickup. The van always comes to the side and the back, like where pre-K goes. For those students who are walkers, we're going to release them. And for those students who have buses who come at a certain time, we're going to release those bus riders also as well. Those students who are in our own Westward aftercare, we're going to escort those students out along with the car riders initially, and they're going to come outside, and their counselor is going to meet them outside somewhere in these courtyard areas. All right. So our aftercare initially will meet the kids outside, and then they will escort them back inside to a classroom to begin their aftercare services. Okay. Students who are car riders and buses that have not come yet, buses that come a little bit late, they will line up with their teachers in the similar places where they came into school. First and second grade will be over here. They'll be on the basketball courts. So if your child's a car rider, they'll be lined up here on the basketball court, and they'll be called over once you get into the location for them to come over. We're asking you to avoid picking them up over here in this area over here. We're going to have them actually walk over to over here and not be picked up until they get over here in this area where it's more chaperones. So first and second grade will be over here on the courts. Here, we'll have third grade right here. They'll be lined up right behind the gate. So when their cars are coming, they'll come out this gate that's close to the center here and move forward to the area, which is pickup area over here. For students who are in fourth grade, they're going to line up here kind of in the grass behind the gate right here for this pickup right here. And then fifth grade will line up right here. Fifth grade, when their parents come for them and they have their assigned numbers called out, fifth grade is going to come down this main corridor here that they usually go down as their dismissal. For students who are in fourth grade, that's the green right here. When they line up, when they're called, they're going to come out this gate right here that's in the center. They're going to come around to this gate, walk over, and be dismissed over here. Third grade, they're going to come out also from this same gate, the central gate in yellow. They're going to come out through the central gate here as well. Now this right here, we have a group of kids who go to Gaines Park or Coleman Park. They'll be lined up here waiting for their bus to come, and we'll release them at that time. If you are in pre-K, pre-K of course goes to the back, the same place where they get dropped off. Pre-K goes to the same place there. And And then for kindergarten is the only group that will already be out here, and they'll be down towards the end of this walk area. Kindergarten will be released earlier. We have kind of like a staggered release. Kindergarten will be released maybe 10 minutes earlier. So they'll be down here all the way down at the end of the car loop area, waiting for their parents there. Make sure there's someone separated there also as well, all right? But we're gonna keep them separated from everybody. We'll keep them in the very front, close to the end of the car pickup, all right? So that'll be our procedures for car pickup. So just make sure you note that where you'll see the kids, maybe live in different locations. We want to keep kids separate from each other, so we kind of use those locations to keep them separate from one another. All right. I'll show this now since it's already here. Someone asked about cafeteria, and we'll get to that in a second. But I'll just show you the picture here. But like the pictures you see here, what we'll have set up for our cafeteria, we're going to have only 2 kids per table, spread 6 feet apart in the cafeteria. So you'll see this kind of distancing, and they'll all be facing one direction. No kids will be facing opposite of each other. They'll all be facing just simply one direction, facing the stage. So that you'll see taking place also as well. You'll see that in one of our outlines. So let me kind of get back to that. So that's my other, let me go back to my other PowerPoint here. All right, so that's kind of student dismissal there. And let me get to nurse clinic procedures. So now, we have procedures to take a look at for nurse and clinic procedures. When we have a situation, and I gotta post this here. We have a new nurse here, so I have to change this. For those who've been around for a number of years, Nurse Mary is no longer our nurse. She retired, and she's been here for I don't know how long at Westward Elementary School. So we have a new nurse here, Nurse B. I guess I have the name on name. Nurse B is our new nurse. I'll make sure when I post this I'll post this PowerPoint probably on our Facebook page and on our website. We'll make sure I have the correct name here. Here is the number though for the nurse. If you need to bring medications to the nurse, make sure you do call. Remember, all parents must have an appointment before they come on campus. So make sure you set up an appointment. What's happening is this: we have a nurse who will be in PPE information, fully dressed, PPE. If someone has a suspicion of COVID-19 for a student, the process will simply be they'll buzz the office. That child will be escorted to the nurse. The nurse will do their investigation and kind of determination if the child may be at risk. If the child is, based on insurance assessment, at risk, that child will be put into a separate, isolated room where they'll wait, and we'll call the parent and have the parent come pick up the child immediately, as quickly as possible. Medication will be given in the clinic area, but we'll probably, if the child's in there for COVID-19, we'll wait and move the dissemination of that outside or something in a closer location for that. If they're minor things, we're asking teachers to handle more of the minor things in the classrooms as opposed to just sending everything to the teacher. So we'll have to have sets of Band-Aids and so forth. The nurse will be doing a lot of inspection for COVID-19. Not at this point, present point right now, but nurses may at some point later in October be able to even test for COVID-19. I think based with their information, we'll see how that works out. But that's also something that may be coming later on, but it's not available now at this point. They'll be doing a preliminary assessment and deciding the child should go home, and they'll notify us, and we'll go through procedures. If that is the case, well, what happened is if someone does have COVID-19 and is clarified that they do have it, there's a process where we'll make sure we inform the entire school and parents, and there'll be some specific things sent out to that classroom also as well. We're required to have seating charts for all of our students, so we know who's sitting in the vicinity of kids at all times, so we know who to reach out to certain specific parents in particular if we need to, based on those seating charts. So we're trying to make sure procedures are in place to make sure we guard and govern that. So if the student test positive, that's what we're basically saying here. I will be alerted. We'll make sure information goes out. I'll contact my regional superintendent. There will be a call out and probably some kind of email sent out as well in connection with the communication department on notification. So notification will be sent out for everyone if there is a positive testing of someone with COVID-19. All right, so make sure you take note of that. Like I said earlier, the isolation room will be in place. School nurse will evaluate that. We make sure that we have basically the contact tracing taking place because we do have the seating charts like I mentioned here already. So students will wait in the isolation room until the parent comes to pick them up. They won't be allowed to go anywhere else. Only place they can go to probably is the restroom, which is near the clinic area. But besides that, they'll be limited where they can go. They'll stay in the isolation room if they're suspected of having COVID-19, And then the parents make sure they have to, they'll be given information as far as testing is concerned that they need to do. And if they don't test, then the students have to stay away, I think, for at least 10 to 14 days or come back with a negative test. All right. So those who that affects, they'll see more information about that in regards to what's required for that. All right. All right. So now also, Norm, try to see if we can mute them. Okay. Make sure those coming in a little bit later, please make sure you do mute your mics when you come on, so you can make sure we don't have disturbances as we can do the presentation. We're gonna answer questions towards the end of this to try to hit as many of those as possible. We'll go through the whole thing first though. Chromebooks and classroom supplies. Students should have Chromebooks available, and they must bring them to class and their chargers daily. Okay, they need to be brought to school daily, and they need to be charged each night. We're concerned with not to charge a whole 8 hours, so make sure they charge them each night and bring their chargers with them. So if the charge runs out, we can plug them here into school and also charge them here at school if needed. And so make sure the child has a good backpack, and make sure that for the backpack, make sure no one should be sharing the screen, just myself, please. Make sure for that backpack, you'll keep the computer in there and the charger in there and so forth. So make sure students are taking care of these electronic devices because that'll be needed on a daily basis. Make sure they have their face mask also as well, and make sure they have extra masks if needed, paper pencils, the things you need, of course, throughout the day for school. Inside of our classroom, we have spray bottles in all of our classrooms. So we do have things we'll be using, and our custodians will also be coming on as well. They will be doing cleanups throughout the day when students are there. Usually wait till kids leave, but we'll be doing some things during the daytime where students are there also as well. And they'll do their more sanitizing also in the evening times of that. They'll make sure they're hitting high touch areas like doorknobs and railings and so forth. They'll be going through that throughout the day. We're working on the schedule for them for hour by hour, what they'll be doing in terms of doing those touch-ups and hitting those high touch areas. They'll be doing desks also daily as well. They have a form that they'll use where they spray the desk down first, wait 10 minutes, and come back and wipe it down. So that'll be done on an ongoing basis also for our cleaning. We're also looking to have some sanitation things available around the school. We're posting those things up right now as we speak. So as students go to different locations, be able to use sanitizers. Each teacher's also been given sanitizer for their classroom as well. So that's in place. So we're working with that. All staff required to wear face coverings. Plexiglass will be coming to teachers a little bit later on, sometime in October. So that'll be at their desk also as well. We're looking to possibly purchase some more plexiglass as needed for instruction. If students need masks to replace them or something, we do have some available for them also as well on campus, but they are required to have them already when you get on the bus or when they come into campus. So they should come with their own face mask. If they need some extras, if something happens to it, we have extra supply here on campus also as well. We have signage here to help make sure students know where to move throughout the campus. We have arrows that we're putting on the floors, arrows in the octagon, main foyer area. We have signage up where kids from the gates are supposed to go between also as well. So we have quite a few signs up posted around the school. We're in the process of doing that now. Ms. Cook's been kind of organizing that and doing a great job of getting those things up also as well. At this point in time, because of sensitivity towards different things coming from the outside, there'll be no birthday parties from the outside. There'll be no cupcakes, no things coming off on campus. All those things will be cut out for right now at this point in time. Students, we're looking to see patrol today help assist with our kindergarten. We're still put that in place or not. If not, we have other adults who will be helping with our kindergartners. We will make sure we are a uniform school, so make sure our students are coming in their uniforms. Basically, we allow students to come with just any solid color top, okay? It doesn't have to be a specific color. It has to be a solid color polo top, polo collar top, polo type style shirt, and then shorts or pants falling behind that, right? So please avoid stripes and designs and that kind of stuff. We try to keep it pretty simple as far as that's concerned. We don't have specific colors, but make sure it's a solid color, whatever color it is, for our students. We don't have overflow rooms. The district was looking at one point in time, if classrooms were too full, to send kids to overflow rooms. We've been able to put all of our desks into the rooms, so we should be able to house all of our students with no more than 18 K through 3 and 22 in grades 4 and 5. Those are the targets we have for that. So we have a seating chart to make sure also as students go to the restroom, we have teachers tracking them going to the restrooms, and those kind of things taking place to track our students. All right. So here's information just to school overall. If you need to reach us, email us, and so forth. My information and Ms. Cook's information. So let me kind of take a look at some of the questions. If Ms. Cook hasn't answered them already, and we can make sure we try to do it. Nadia Jursira, we see you trying to share your screen, honey. Can't do that, please. Only I need you to be sharing the screen. Okay, so make sure we're not sharing your screen, sweetheart.
Okay, Mr. Brooks, I've been answering some of the questions about transportation and about laptops and aftercare. Those are most of the ones that I've been addressing in the chat.
Okay, are there any ones that need to be addressed still at this time?
Not regarding those things, but there are some other questions that need to be addressed, yes. Do you want me to go through them?
Yes, please.
Okay, let's see.
And I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna give you about, like, as much as we can do, but hit about 5 minutes. When Ms. Cook has some more information she has to go through, it may take a little time also as well.
Right.
Try to hit all these questions as much as possible. Let's give ourselves no more than 6:15. We'll call for 6:15 at the latest. Then Ms. Cook, you roll into the part you have to roll into. Absolutely.
Can one parent ask, can she provide hand sanitizer and Clorox wipe for her child to use daily?
Yes. You can bring your own, we encourage that, your own sanitizer. Yes, that can be encouraged. Clorox, we are not allowed to do Clorox because certain reasons, I think maybe allergies and so forth. So sanitizer is okay, but I would love to use Clorox in our classrooms also as well, but we're not allowed to have Clorox be used.
Sorry, Mr. Brooks, she's asking about the wipes, the Clorox or Lysol wipes.
Oh, Clorox. Let's ask.
Okay.
And this is for your child's personal use, right? For the child's personal use, correct?
That was for Ms. McDonald.
For the child's personal use, we have to be careful that send order may cost them. But let's put it down. Let me ask my boss about that. Let's take note of that.
Yes, personal use. Personal use, yes.
Okay, I have to double check, Ms. McDonald. Let me double check. I can't say for sure for right now.
All right, we talked about classroom setup. We talked about safely eating with masks off. A couple of parents asked about online classes, if they're still available, if the students stay home. So I did address that and say that yes, they are still available for virtual learning.
That's the blended learning part, right? Teachers will be doing blended learning. They'll be teaching to those who are face-to-face and those who are online, correct?
One parent asked, recordings haven't been posted. How can she monitor her child's progress?
You will need to email me and let me know who that teacher is so I can follow up with them. And then one parent is asking. Right here. So you need to email me so I can follow up with the teacher with that. At this point in time, at least a while, at this point in time up until it should be recorded still at this point in time.
Okay. What about changing from class to class, rotation 1 and 2?
Yeah, so here's what we're doing for rotation. So we went through this back and forth in terms of rotation classes. Those who are departmentalized, which is most of our 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders in one secondary class, will be rotating classrooms. The way we're going to do that is we're going to make sure those are staggered. It won't be the whole 5th grade changing at the same time. We're going to have a schedule where those are staggered. And then what's going to happen is most of our classrooms, we have it where the rooms are connected with a rotating partner. And so the rooms are connected by like a bathroom hallway. And then we have the outside. So what's going to happen is we're going to have like a two-way traffic taking place where kids will not be crossing each other. So one classroom will be rotating through the bathroom hallway, which is inside, connecting both classrooms. The other class is going to rotate outside in the hallway. So be like a circle going on taking place, right? Where one's going out of the room, others coming in. It'll circle around that way. Okay, that's taking place for those rotations.
Okay, another question is how will students bring all the materials? I guess on the school supply list. Students are allowed to bring backpacks, so they can put the items in their backpacks. But everything they have need to be put in their backpack.
Yes. So we definitely, listen.
I'm not referring to. I'm referring to how they.
I'm sorry, Mom. Let me do this real quick. Okay, I didn't mute you. Excuse me a second, Miss Jarrett. Hold on a second. Let me say this real quick. Now I kind of see. I'm gonna be careful by doing too many individual questions, but let me do this real quick. So now I'll try to mute you if I can in a second, Miss Jarrett. I'm trying to avoid too much because I have like 70 people online here, so I might be able to answer too many individual questions. But let me say this. For the backpacks, I really hope parents, our kids, they're carrying computers and they're carrying chargers. We're gonna need them to have that stored in house somewhere. So it's not a backpack, some kind of bag, that's fine. But you make sure they're housing that in something. I don't want kids carrying Chromebooks just in their hands because they're a little more likely to drop that. So make sure they should have something in which they can carry this kind of item, whether it's a bag or a backpack, but make sure you have that. So Ms. Jarrett, I don't want to cut you off, so I don't want to be rude. So I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can put you go ahead and I'll let you unmute for a second, but I'm not going to do too many conversations if we can. But go ahead and unmute yourself real quick and answer your question real quick. I apologize.
No, I was just saying that the amount of stuff that has been provided already, she's struggling taking that to the daycare. So how is she going to bring that to school?
So that you can work out with the teacher and make sure you contact your teacher and see which things are absolutely necessary to be brought. The computer and the Chromebook and the cord are like no question. Those have to be brought. But make sure you talk to your teacher. Talk to your teacher individually. I can't answer a question for you right now, but talk to your teacher individually and ask them what is it that needs to be brought exactly. I mean, particular. All right, because that would that I can answer across the board for every teacher. Okay, what specifically needs to be brought, what doesn't need to be brought. Okay, I'm going to meet you again. I'm sorry, I'm going to meet you again. But I'm going to try to make sure you finish in the next 5 minutes. Ms. Cook, are there a lot more questions? Because I have a couple more to be raised.
Yeah, there are quite a few. So we'll have to maybe address some of them at a different time, or maybe the parents can email us. Yes,
and what I'll do also, parents, is this. I'll try to at points and times throughout as we do this learning. There's a lot of information that we have to give to you, right? And you're never get it all tonight. That's it, right? So we'll try to have some open forums also as well. We're able to do that. We may kind of do it maybe by small group, maybe by grade level, like a 5th grade parent night, a 4th grade parent night. So we can have more chance when there's a smaller group to kind of interact and get more questions answered. Here we have 7 people online. It's kind of hard to hit everybody's question, but we'll try to schedule some ongoing communications ongoing. So as more things come up, and more things will come up that we have to kind of address, we can kind of find ways to kind of navigate through those. All right. What else do you have to cook, Ms. Cook, on this? About 5 more minutes.
Let's see if there's any for the general good. Can my child bring lunch? Yes, your child can bring lunch.
Yes.
And one parent is asking if the children will get in trouble for not wearing masks.
Well, let me say this, in trouble. So if a child, this is a school board policy, this isn't even a Westward policy, this is a school board policy. If a child does not wear the mask, then they will have to make sure they go distance learning. If they're unable to do so, whatever, if there's some other things going to whatever, but they have to wear those masks. It has to be a safety situation for everybody. So if they're unable to do so, we'll go through some process of trying to help them. We'll go through some steps. Hey, you got to wear it and so forth. But at some point, if we see it's a continuous non-wearing a mask of issue, then they'll have to make sure they resign themselves to doing distance learning versus face-to-face.
I have a quick question.
Oh, Ms. Brown, I just had it. Okay, Ms. Brown, I'm not gonna have people just call off right now. So if we have questions we can put into the chat, we can do that. I'm trying to make sure we just kind of keep it orderly as much as possible. Then Ms. Cook addresses the questions. Like I said, we're gonna try to develop some maybe grade level meetings, so we have more time just to kind of unmute and everybody can kind of have some time to kind of ask direct questions. But if you want to put it, you can type it in. I'll let Ms. Cook kind of be the mediator, kind of going through the questions that way. Okay, Ms. Cook, you have about 3 more minutes, 3.5 more minutes. And also, we can save these. Also, when you do have a question here, we can save these chats also as well. Something we can also go back through kind of more quickly than watching this 45-minute video.
Yes, I want to address a couple of parents who are asking about their child not having an electronic device. I put in the chat our technology person. I put his email address in there, so please reach out to him, and we can check to see, if there are any available to you.
Let me do that also as well. Yeah, that's important. So, and I'll try to make sure we have this information also on our website. The process of what to do when you have an issue with computers, because that's going to happen also. Even teachers here on campus having issues with some of the computers. So you guys aren't alone. So Mr. Navarro is our point of contact. I'll just share what happens. He'll kind of go through his own steps. If there's an issue where something has to be swapped out or changed, he has to create a ticket through the district. And then from that point, he gets approval from me. We get a ticket, and then things are processed. So we even have a procedure through that. But he's the first person to kind of go through. He investigates the situation, and then he'll send it to me for my approval. And then we go ahead and go through the ticket and do the exchanges that need to, or whatever needs to be done to it. Okay. All right, 2 minutes to go. Any more?
Oh, okay. I'm trying to look for one just for the good of the group.
Ms. Brown, we have to talk to Ms. Morris. They should have them. Let me discuss with her what her policies will be in terms of the computers and how they'll house them, and what they'll be doing with the backpacks and so forth. So right now, I said I don't have the information. She It's gonna be out. She'll be in tomorrow. Could you follow up with Ms. Morris in terms of asking them how they're going to secure student supplies and materials during aftercare? And aftercare is gonna be a little bit different also as well. It might not be as much activity engagement. You know what I'm saying? Like doing things that they have done. They have to do some social distancing also as well. So that even that's going to be revamped somewhat. So we have to kind of see how, kind of her processes and procedures regarding student supplies to have it with them. I know I saw before they had some backpacks in a location that they're always there. So I understand that concern, especially if I have my own computer.
Okay. I'm sorry. Just two more, Mr. Brooks, and then we can move on. And then just parents, thank you very much. Our email addresses are there. If we don't get to your question tonight, one parent asked, she has a pre-care and a fourth grader. How will she drop off pickup work? When you are able to enter the gates at 7:10, you have to make sure that your children stay in the car. You, as an aftercare parent, aftercare is in the back of the school, so you'll have to go around the back to drop your aftercare student off, but your older student can come up to the building at a designated time. And then one parent just asked about early drop off, and unfortunately, we can't have parents.
So not aftercare, pre-K student.
Yes, I'm saying pre-K drops off at the aftercare entrance. That's what I meant to say. Sorry, in the back of the school.
Okay.
And Ms. Overstreet, just see us on Monday, and somebody will assist you.
Thank you, Ms. Cook.
You're welcome.
All right. At this point, I got to talk to Ms. Cook. We have some information we have to go through that we have to do. So I'm letting Ms. Cook, I'm gonna kind of close off my part. Ms. Cook, I'm gonna stop sharing. I'm gonna let you share your presentation at this time.